Penn State looking to bounce back after that disappointment in Columbus. Couldn't have a letdown against Indiana. Well, sure, they could probably sleepwalk through this game against the Hoosiers, right? Best discussion, debate, and analysis right here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you being here. Let's get down to it. Penn State running game, not explosive, not consistent throughout this season, and we're already 8 games deep. So the Penn State running game in question as they head down the home stretch. 34th in the nation in rushing, not bad. 64th in the country in yards per rush, not good. Katron Allen strong in this game, 18 carries for 81 yards. The home run hitter Nick Singleton bottled up once again this week, 15 carries for 50 yards. And in a key situation in the first half, 3rd and 2 play, and full house backfield for Penn State. So they said, hey, we're not going to throw the football. We're coming right at you. And I mean old school full house backfield with 3 running backs in the traditional T formation. Many of you have not seen that. And Penn State gets thrown for a yard loss. Again, the rushing, not impressive on this game, although they did move Indiana out of the way at times. And, of course, IU has its best units on the defensive side in that front 7. And we'll talk a little bit more about where the Hoosiers really looked good in this game as they have much of this season. So forced punt there. Brendan Sorsby had possibly a career day, especially throwing long distance. A 90-yarder to DeQuise Carter. 90 yards. IU goes up 7-0 as Carter burned Zaki Wheatley. And then Cam Miller came up and took a bad angle, whiffed on the play, and down the sideline, 90 yards for the touchdown as IU went up 7-0. Next drive, Lennell Carr, one of those defenders up front for IU who's having a big season, one of the best in the Big Ten. He had a sack on Drew Aller that shut down Penn State's next series. So the Hoosiers, 3 consecutive series on defense, forcing Penn State to punt. Actually, 4 straight to start the game. So the Hoosiers off to a great start. And then Indiana doing Indiana things when they had a chance to get a sizable advantage early. They muff a punt. Camden Jordan muffs the punt. Cam Miller recovers. Indiana could have had the ball with a 7-0 lead. Instead, they turn it over to Penn State. Aller hits Khalil Dinkins, who catches his first touchdown of the season, his first catch of the season. Dinkins only had 4 receptions last season, but he got completely lost in the right flat as he flared out and everybody went and lost him. He got lost in traffic, catches the touchdown. Penn State ties it up at 7-7 at that point. Indiana, better team in the first quarter, led the total yardage matchup 111-70. Complete coverage bust on the next Brendan Sorsby touchdown that went for 69 yards this time to Donovan McCulley, who just ran down the sideline. Just had nobody on him down the left sideline. He just ran, and it was just like playing in the backyard. Sorsby to McCulley on that one, and IU led it 14-7. So Penn State, one of the best defenses in the nation, blowing coverages in this ball game and getting beaten downfield. Penn State had allowed only 1 40-plus yard play on the season in 7 games. They give up 2 in the first half. Drew Aller, just to show you the 2 approaches by the 2 offenses and quarterbacks, because what made me think of this comment by Tom Allen going all the way back to Big Ten Media Days when he said, we have to find explosive plays. Well, here we are in Week 8, and Indiana found explosive plays to stay in the game against Penn State. Drew Aller, on the other hand, seems many times as though he is hesitant to throw the ball downfield. James Franklin has been asked about that, and he's been a bit testy in his responses about throwing the ball downfield and says, we're not just going to chuck it down the field. Well, they did chuck it, and we will get to that. But Drew Aller, early on, 10 completions on the day at this point, just to show you the 2 approaches here. Drew Aller, 10 for 13 for 61 yards. Brendan Sorsby, 3 completions for 162 yards at this point. Indiana gets stopped on a 4th and 3. They had a bad snap. They're in Penn State territory. They're up 14-7. So they've got a chance to do something big here with 7 minutes left in the first half to go up by 2 scores. Bad snap. Sorsby does a great job to chase the football down, pick it up, avoid some rush that obviously it's a jailbreak when there's a bad snap and the defense just goes after the quarterback. He's able to elude the rush and throw it out to Trent Howland, who dives for the first down, is given the first down placement of the football, but they reviewed it. And yes, Howland's forearm was down short of the first down, so Indiana does not convert from the Penn State 40. Key in this game. Go to the second half. Penn State's first drive, all the way down the field. Aller hits Theo Johnson for the touchdown. Penn State leads now 24-14 at this point after Penn State defense in the first half that was only giving up 218 yards per game. I believe that's number one in the country coming into Saturday. Gave up 220. Again, 218 per game. Gives up 220 to Indiana in the first half alone. 24-14, it looks like Penn State's in good shape. But Linnell Carr, Aaron Casey, the IU front, continues to force Penn State to punt. One particular play on a 3rd and 9, Aaron Casey bats down the ball, as he is apt to do, forces Penn State to punt. Keep in mind, Chop Robinson, one of the best defensive players up front in the Big Ten, forced out during the Ohio State game, did not play on Saturday against IU. Josh Henderson on a 3rd and 6 showed what most likely would have been a Chop Robinson kind of play, where he typically collapses the line in these kind of plays. And Indiana bypasses the pass to run the ball on a 3rd and 6 and gain the first down as Henderson goes for 12 plays, 57 yards for him. And then Brendan Sorsby with his first career 3-touchdown game, and the third of which Omar Cooper for the touchdown on the square-in play. The two defenders, Keaton Ellis and Daquan Hardy, collide, going for the tackle at the 5-yard line. Cooper makes his way into the end zone. We've got a 24-21 ball game, and Happy Valley was not so happy, and it was dead silent at this point. Penn State on a 3rd and 1 at the IU 30 gets stopped again. Or Penn State gets the stop, yes. And then Drew Aller throws his first career interception. Here it comes. So Drew Aller, despite the criticism, the struggles, and some of the issues that he's having developing, becoming a better quarterback, we've talked about them, of course, and it's out there for all to see. However, give the young man some credit for not turning the ball over. Made it 301 pass attempts. That's the longest in the history of college football at the outset of his career without throwing a pick, but he threw a big one to Josh Sanguinetti that brought it inside the Penn State 25-yard line. Now, Tom Allen played it conservative here. So he gets the big pick, and the IU sideline is ecstatic because they're down 24-21. Penn State had the ball. They get the pick on Aller. They've got it inside the 25, and they run it 3 times. Settle for the field goal. Okay, brand new ball game. 24-all as we're inside 3 minutes now in the football game. Consider Indiana's 0-12 all-time at Penn State. Indiana has not defeated a top 10 team on the road since 1987 at Ohio State. This is what they're trying to accomplish here. And so they get the big play on the pick, get the field goal. It's 24-all inside 3 minutes, and then Aller goes up top, throws a beautiful ball, and a good adjustment on the ball by Keandre Lambert-Smith. And he tiptoes down the sideline. Like the last 20 yards, he is barely in bounds, sprawls into the end zone. Penn State leads 31-24. Indiana still has time with $1:46 left. But Denai Dennis Sutton makes the big play of the game. So it's the bomb on offense, which we rarely have seen out of the Penn State offense in the passing game this season. So they go up top. They go for broke. That's got to make James Franklin feel good. He'll probably maybe throw some daggers in the post-game news conference about the downfield passing game. So they get the big play to go up 31-24. And then one of Penn State's best defenders, one of these future first or second round NFL picks, Denai Dennis Sutton, comes off the edge, strip sack, ball gets kicked through the end zone for a safety. Penn State goes up 33-24. Game, set, and match as IU was forced to go for the ill-fated onside kick with only 90 seconds left in the game, down 2 scores. Penn State runs out the clock to up their record to 7-1 now. IU, let's deal with the Hoosiers real quick. First, 2-6. They go to Wisconsin next week. They actually have the Badgers coming to town, and you got to at this point in the season now that they got to win out 4 consecutive games to get to a bowl game. That's not going to happen. So is Tom Allen going to save his job? This would have been a time to help out the old head coach with a win here. Tom Allen not looking in good shape in terms of keeping his job, but they've got an opportunity. They've bypassed the Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State games, so they've got an opportunity to run the table to a certain extent. If they play like they did today and against Louisville, it could happen, possibly, but no, this team's just not good enough to run the table with 4 consecutive wins, so they fall to 2-6. Tom Allen's job is in jeopardy. Okay, Penn State's still in the championship race, but they cannot play like this. They've got Maryland on the road next week. They have to play better than this, possibly to beat Maryland, and then in 2 weeks, they've got Michigan coming to town, and they've got to do so much better. They've got to find some explosive plays in the passing game. I know that they got the big play to win the game, but that needs to be a little bit more consistent, 4, 5, 6 times per game. And I'm not talking about bomb shots, but I'm talking about substantial plays in the passing game beyond 5, 6 yards in the flat. Also, of course, the running game is not going to pick up this kind of yardage against Michigan unless the offensive line is more effective. Our look at Penn State and Indiana and Indy Lions now 7-1. Your thoughts down below. Leave those and we will check them out. And please call us tonight right after the primetime games. We go live as we always do to wrap up the weekend and take your calls on our big Saturday night wrap-up show right here at the Voice of College Football.